The London-based Environmental Investigation Agency is one of the largest global anti-wildlife trafficking networks. For years, their investigations have broken up criminal gang networks all over the world. Today, the organization is expected to release a new report showing new links between Nigeria and Vietnam over the trafficking of elephant ivory and other products, and how Vietnam is now playing a greater role than China in this illicit enterprise. And now joining us from the Arise London studio to discuss the finer points of this report and project is Linh Nguyen, a wildlife campaigner at Environmental Investigations Agency. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, so let's start with the report. Today it's meant to be released. It will be sort of interesting to sort of gauge your thoughts regarding what it's likely to reveal.
So while there has been a widespread recognition of the impact of poaching on elephant and other wildlife in Africa, there is less awareness on the operation of Vietnamese syndicate operating in multiple African countries, trafficking wildlife from Africa to Asia. So the Vietnam Footprint in Africa report, which is launched today, shine light on the operation of Vietnamese network operating in Africa and highlight the need for Vietnam to increase and receive international cooperation from African countries to tackle wildlife trafficking more effectively.
And exactly what is the role of Vietnam in global wildlife trafficking?
So for a decade, Vietnam has been highlighted for its role in international wildlife trafficking. And since 2019, Vietnam has become the world's largest import hub for ivory and pangolin scale coming from Africa. And since 2010, Vietnam has been implicated in more than 700 seizures involving elephant, rhino horns, and pangolin scale, amounting to 123 tons of ivory, 111 tons of pangolin scales, and 2.7 tons of rhino horns. And these alarming figures are only the tip of the iceberg because the majority of them take place undetected.
And how long, Vietnamese wildlife crime networks, how long have they been operating in Africa? And how does that impact on biodiversity and wildlife population in Africa?
So the Vietnamese network have been operating in Africa for nearly 2 decades, since the mid-2000s, starting with the illegal trade in rhino horns and lion bones in South Africa, followed by ivory and pangolin scale sourced and trafficked through multiple countries in Africa. And since 2015, there has been a booming illegal trade in timber from Cameroon to Vietnam as well. And the operation of this, the operation of these syndicates have a huge impact on the biodiversity and wildlife in Africa. They are driving unsustainable natural resources exploitation, exact crime and corruption, and exploiting weak governance and local community along the supplies and transport chain in Africa.
And Linh, what are the key African countries that are implicated in this wildlife trafficking that is linked so closely to Vietnam? Linh, if you're there and you can hear me, we were wondering what some of the other key African countries were that were implicated in this wildlife trafficking that's linked to Vietnam.
Yeah, I can hear you now, sorry. So Vietnamese network operate in multiple countries in Africa, and the key countries including Angola, Cameroon, DR Congo, Mozambique, Uganda, South Africa, and Nigeria. And among these countries, South Africa play as the primary role in trafficking rhino horn and lion bone from Africa to Vietnam, while DR Congo and Nigeria in Western Central Africa has been implicated in the massive ivory and pangolin scale trafficking from Africa to Asia. For example, since 2015, Nigeria has been implicated in 19 tons of ivory and 62 tons of pangolin scale imported to Vietnam from Africa.
And just if there's anyone out there who is wondering, how has wildlife been trafficked from Africa to Asia?
So wildlife could be trafficked from Africa to Asia by either air route or sea route, depending on the products. In terms of rhino horns and lion bone, they are often carried by air passengers from OR Tambo Airport in South Africa or Maputo International Airport in Mozambique, with some transit in the Middle East, Hong Kong or Thailand. Meanwhile, large quantity of ivory and pangolin scale are shipped to Vietnam seaports. And timber, cashew nuts, and plastic waste are the common products used as consumer methods for the shipment between Africa and Asia.
Okay, let's talk about the government. What is the government's role, the Vietnamese government in particular? What have they done to try and tackle this wildlife trafficking?
So since the Vietnam Revised Penal Code came into force in 2018, there has been some progress made by the Vietnamese government to tackle wildlife trafficking, including the increase in the penalties and convictions of wildlife crime. Even though this is very welcome, but this has been not enough, because since 2018, not one of the seaports case involving ivory and pangolin scale imported from Africa to Vietnam has been resulted in any arrest or convictions, and Vietnam needs to work harder to tackle wildlife trafficking more effectively.
And what else do you think needs to be done to disrupt the Vietnamese-led criminal networks and better tackle wildlife trafficking?
There is an urgent need for greater law enforcement effort from Vietnam government to tackle wildlife trafficking. This includes gathering and sharing intelligence and working closely with the African country to conduct intelligence-led investigation into the major seizure made at seaports in Vietnam and to disrupt the criminal network operating in Africa and Asia.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on the program this afternoon and, explaining to us exactly what is going on with this wildlife trafficking of ivory. Thank you, Lynn.